The events in Zero Reality are getting stranger. Mephisto has taken over the Dark Kingdom, but now it is clear that the main villain is not him. Meanwhile, the island is in an eerie calm, as we can't even guess what we'll be facing. Hello, loopers. After defeating Dr. Doom, the plot has become more confusing, because there are almost no prerequisites to carry into the second chapter. And now we're going to try to figure it all out. Why are we moving to Chapter 2? Why did they add a third chapter map to the game? And most importantly, who's been pulling the strings in the shadows all this time? So stock up on popcorn and make yourself comfortable, enter my author code FillyFishy in the item store, and here we go. With the release of the latest patch, we've finally confirmed that Dr. Doom has been defeated. This is clear from the words of Mephisto, who speaks of Doom in the past tense. So the chair of the main villain is still vacant. Or is it still not? In general, in the 5th chapter with the villains, all turned out to be very murky. First, we suspect one, then suddenly someone else is announced, and the guilty party is the third. This is roughly the picture we saw when the Oracle talked about the ancient prophecy. At first, everyone thought that the main threat to the island was Zeus, and it was him that the Oracle was talking about. Only when a sandstorm and a huge ship appeared on the horizon, it became clear that there is a bigger fish. Actually, the whole 3rd season, the community was betting on the fact that Megalodon would cut the map into 2 parts, after which he would somehow be removed from the plot to give place to the Wanderer. That's pretty much what happened, with one exception, because in fact, Megalodon didn't even get to do anything. The Wanderer, who turned out to be Doom, brutally toppled his former comrade by blowing up a pipeline with nitro. And now, with the end of the season just around the corner, it turns out that Doom isn't the main threat either. And Epix has to justify moving it to Chapter 2 somehow. What Jones and Hope might be afraid of isn't entirely clear right now, so I'm almost 100% sure that the reason for sending them back in time is to be found somewhere inside, not outside. Mephisto didn't appear in Zero Reality by accident, and Epix made him not a simple NPC, but a full-fledged character, for which they completely changed one of the biomes. That's a lot of attention for a passable NPC from Marvel, don't you agree? That's why I'm betting that the Demon Lord will still play his role during the final event of the season. And to figure out who might contract with Mephisto or ask him for this favor, we need to figure out what main characters of Chapter 5 we basically have left. Jones, Hope, Oracle, and Valeria. With the first two, everything is more or less clear. The legendary couple will go to the agreement with Mephisto only in one case, if everything will be very bad. They've had enough of Dr. Doom, who has been plaguing the loopers for almost 2 seasons, and to go to the trouble of another villain is, to put it mildly, a questionable idea. However, even though this outcome is unlikely, we can't rule it out completely. The only way I see Jones or Hope making a contract with Mephisto is if one of them dies. Then we can try to go back in time and change the events so that one of the characters doesn't die. But in that case, it's not quite clear why you would go back to the second chapter. Perhaps it's a trick of the deal with Mephisto. After all, for example, when Doom's mother made a deal with the Red Demon, as a result of which she received great power, she could not control it, all in all, typical demon tricks. But this one only works if Jones's life is threatened. After all, we met Hope only in the 5th chapter, but Legend in the distant 2nd chapter was a simple office worker imagined order, and if you warn him about what's going to happen on the island, he's more likely to help prevent what happened. The second option is the Oracle, and as far as I'm concerned, he's the most unlikely. But even those theories are worth considering. Also, come to think of it, in all 4 seasons, we still haven't figured out where the Oracle came from, and more importantly, why she's helping us. There used to be theories that she was human before, and after the conflict with Zeus, he turned her into a water with predictions. But personally, I never found direct confirmation of this in the game, so nothing is known about the Oracle's identity. And if she was just a minor character, she wouldn't have stayed with us until the end of the chapter. And how does she know so much about the Zero Reality? Columbus, Pandora's box, references to Jones's past. Of course, we can write it all off to the fact that she's an oracle, but the oracle's function is to predict the future, not to look into the past. So there's some inconsistency here. In any case, she may well be hiding a secret that our heroes will not like. What if, in theory, the oracle didn't tell us much, and defeating Doom would lead us to even more serious consequences? After all, if you look back, you'll realize that we only did what she told us to do. Pissed off and weakened Zeus, which led to Megalodon and the Wanderer. And now we've defeated Doom. The Oracle herself is unlikely to make a direct agreement with Mephisto, but it's very strange that she didn't foresee the appearance of an entire King of Hell on the island. So I wouldn't write off that prediction water. And the third and most likely candidate is Valeria. The last time we encountered her was back in the first season of Chapter 5, when she awakened Titan's hand and unleashed Pandora's box. In fact, that's where it all began. Since then, Valeria hasn't appeared in the story. Or rather, we only got bits and pieces about her being in the shadows. As a rule, epics did it through dialogues with NPCs. In the same first season, you could find an interesting dialogue between Hope and her sister, where she asks Valeria not to go through her grandfather's ancient maps anymore. This is most likely referring to the very same moth book that Valerie used to carry around with her everywhere. But what is even more interesting, this book at the very beginning of the fourth season appeared in one of Doom's towers, which means that either Doom worked together with her, or he found and killed Valeria taking her favorite book. Or Valeria herself planted the book on Doom and is now hiding somewhere on the island. And personally, I'm leaning more towards the latter option, because Lady of Fire herself is not as simple as she seems at first glance. On the early concepts of her loading screens, you could see not only 0-point monitors, but also books with Seven's logo, which means she's at least aware of everything that's happened in Zero reality. Besides, we still don't know why Valeria basically wanted to open Pandora's box. Perhaps she was looking for a way to unlock all the secrets of the island, but something didn't go according to plan, and she had to temporarily lay low. And now that Mephisto has appeared, whose main ability is to literally grant any wish, so this is the perfect opportunity to take such a chance. Because essentially, Valerie is now the only character that connects literally everything: 0 Point, Pandora's box, Dr. Doom, the prophecies, and Hope. And from Charlie Wen's side, it would be very strange to leave Valerie behind, because actually all this time, the engine of the plot was not Hope, but her sister, who really hides a whole bunch of secrets. From who their grandfather was, and why he has so much information about the island's past, to the records of the Seven, plus, apparently, Valerie is a brilliant manipulator. Remember the first season when we were chasing the banana? Basically, all that fuss was dust in the eyes of Jones and his girlfriend. And as I see it, neither Oscar, Nisha, or even Montague were aware of Valerie's true plans. She was cold-bloodedly using all the members of high society to distract Jones and Hope, who could interfere with her, while herself using this book and looking for a place to keep Pandora's box. So to leave a villain with that potential would be very strange. So I think she'll be the one to do something that gets us into Chapter 2. Right now, it's hard to say exactly how Valeria can be brought back into the plot. For the entire 5th chapter, we never really understood her motivation. And if Hope's plot path is generally clear to us, then the Fire Sister has remained somewhere behind the scenes. It feels like Charlie Wan wanted to make Valerie a mysterious character, but he went so overboard that for the whole 4 seasons, all the information about her can be summarized in 2 or 3 sentences. It would be cool if during the event or before it, we would be shown some kind of cinematic where we would look at all the events of the 5th chapter on Valeria's behalf. But I don't believe in it. And if my theory is confirmed, and Valeria will be somehow involved in our transfer to the 2nd chapter, then we should definitely wait for the epic ending at the end of the season, because we already know that the final event is codenamed Kiln, which means that it is somehow connected with fire. It is quite possible that it will involve the Tower of Doom, which was not destroyed during the battle with him. And if that hidden villain is really Valeria, we should expect worse trouble than the opening of Pandora's box. She knows how to make a spectacular appearance and walk off into the sunset. Besides, with the latest update, the map of the 3rd chapter was added to the game. Or to be more precise, the 4th season of the 3rd chapter. And now the whole community is puzzled, because on the leaked roadmap was clearly visible that this season should be followed by OG season on the 2nd chapter, and after all, this leak was confirmed 100%. So, there's something wrong here. I don't rule out that the map of the 3rd chapter was added on purpose to confuse us, because it's not the first time Epix has done this recently. You may not be aware of this, but before the battle with Doom, there was a challenge in the game files related to this event. It was called Visit the Ruins of Doom's Tower. However, at the last minute it was changed to Damage Doom or Doombot. And this is not an isolated case, so Epix is purposely blowing dust in our eyes to avoid spoilers. So the addition of the 3rd chapter map could also be a diversionary stunt. According to another version, during the final event, we will first be taken directly to the Fracture event with a completely different outcome, and then to the 2nd chapter. But in this case, it's still a mystery why everything will take place in this order. And finally, the final version. The development team of the Battle Royale completely worked, and someone added the map of the 3rd chapter banally by mistake, because you must agree that recently there have been a lot of bugs. What can I say? Even the map. Hilbert accidentally attached. In any case, during the event on the transfer to the 2nd chapter will definitely affect one of these 4. We just need to figure out who and how. So, leave your theories in the comments, the most interesting ones I'll be sure to like. And in order not to miss the epic finale, which will put an end to the story of Pandora's box and hope, properly beat the bell and subscribe. Don't forget to give me your mysterious like and enter my creator code FillyFishy in the item store. And I'm off. Bye.